All right, what's going on, everybody? Just give me 1 minute. Trying to make sure we're on our uh, our platforms because we about to go in. You know, don't freak out, everybody. Don't freak out. I got my man Madison down, so we're like, oh, oh, here we go again. Here we go again, um, brother. What you're going through right now, I get is I can't even begin to say I don't understand it on such a high level. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I'm big on, right, especially right now, is you know what's happening to men of God, and how we can go through so many things silently and
Mhm.
not and just hold it in as like
Mhm.
getting hit from all sides, and then really don't have anybody that kind of understands what we're actually going through.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you for being willing to open up and say, "Hey, man, like this this this, this can't be done silently."
Right. Mhm.
This can't be done silent. And I thank you for sharing your story. What you're about to tell us what's going on, but to catch everybody up with who you are and where you come from. You ran for Congress in 2022.
Correct.
What was it, 2020? It's 2020 or 2022?
2020. 2020.
20,
Yeah. Then I tried again in 2022, but that's when the divorce happened. So,
yeah. And this divorce wasn't just like, let's just go our separate ways because you have older kids. Uh, you know, it got ugly. You know, and after the divorce, you had a health situation, correct?
yeah. I mean, the divorce itself, it didn't really get ugly. It's getting ugly as we speak. I mean, we've been divorced for about 3 years now.
Yeah,
Uh, in the middle of that, yeah, I did have some health issues where I died last year. And, the Father saw fit to bring me back to life. So I'm here now.
yeah.
Um, but that complicated some things with what's going on now. For example, with settling over the house and things like that.
Well, and this is where I'm thinking to myself, this should be such a private situation,
Mhm.
uh, and then all of a sudden, it becomes to where, you know, people can't be reasonable and say, hey, this is what's right, this is what's fair. So
Mhm.
tell us exactly what's going on with the house situation, because ever since I've known you, since the divorce even happened, I know that you've been, you know, the benefit of you getting away from the house has already been out there. So it's really kind of strange that this is all happening right now. But I'd love for people to hear exactly what you want them to know about what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We got divorced. Our children are older, so they had the benefit of both us being together coming up. And one of my oldest is all of them are out of the house. They were in college, and one had graduated college by the time we got divorced. But what we had agreed upon was that we would sell the house and then split the proceeds. Just 50-50. Um, we put the house on the market, and it didn't sell. So then we decided, okay, well, we could take it off the market, and then I'll put myself in a situation where I would go ahead and refinance. Um, Mind you, this is all coming off of a congressional run and all that kind of stuff. So, in order for me to do that, I had to go back and then reestablish my job and all that kind of stuff. Over the course of time, uh, I was still, you know, uh, rebuilding myself, hoping for the best, that maybe things could turn around. But I ended up getting sick and I died. I went into cardiogenic shock. They went inside my heart 2 times. They couldn't find anything wrong. My arteries were clear. Uh, Structure, everything was good in the heart. It was just I just was dying as a result, I believe, of stress and heartbreak, I guess. So that's what happened. Now, during the course of this time, my ex decided, I guess she was hard up for money, so she started pushing for the sale of the house. And um, so, there was the option again to refinance the house. At that time, obviously, I couldn't because I wasn't working. I was coming out the hospital and stuff like that. So we ended up putting the house back on the market. So we put the house back on the market, and it gets appraised and all those sort of things. So the VA came, they appraised the house. They also, when they do an appraisal, they let you know, there are codes to let you know how good the house is, what kind of shape it's in, that sort of thing. And according to the appraisal, which we already know, the house is in very good condition, very well kept. Um, just normal wear and tear for the age of the house. And mind you, I built the house, so um, I'm the only owner. Um, and so the real estate agent comes in and decides that she wants to make improvements on the house. And according to the PSA, I sent you a bunch of documents, uh,
Mhm.
documents, PSA, and stuff like that. My job was basically just to maintain the house, make sure it was well kept, and then have it ready to be presented for sale. So I just wanted to sell the house as is, you know, get it off our hands. We could go our separate ways. But this real estate agent came in and she started forcing her way in, like wanting to repaint everything, redo the roof, change all the flooring, just crazy stuff. And then she would go back and she would testify that the house needed these things in order for it to be sold when it didn't. But what happened was a judge forced uh, me to spend over $50,000 in upgrades on the house. And I'm thinking, who does something like that when they're just trying to sell a house? Um, so then, on top of signing the contract, which I didn't sign the contract because at the end of the contract, so like after he did the floors, the walls, the painting, the walls, supposedly the ducts, because remember, obviously back in the day, you could see me sitting in my office smoking cigars, so I'd smoke in the house, but that had to be remediated, which is normal. Um, there was a clause at the end of that contract that said that there was a 10% penalty fee for every month that the house isn't sold. And I wouldn't sign anything like that, you know. So the judge ends up holding me in contempt because I won't sign something that says that somebody can just suck up all my equity. He also held me in contempt because this particular real estate agent, Hanan Sabah is her name. Uh, she she had something happen in her past, right, where she claims that she was attacked by somebody. Don't have anything to do with me, but obviously I have weapons in my house. So she went and testified in court that she was afraid to show the house because I had weapons. So the judge said that he tried to force me to remove my firearms out the house, which I didn't allow him to do. And he started shouting at me. I asked him, why do I have to remove my firearms? And he said, because I said so. And he was shouting at me in the courtroom from the bench, because I said so, yelling at me. And I said, no, it don't work like that. And I have a Second Amendment right. He held me in contempt. So they've been holding me in contempt for stuff that really is beyond my control. Um, my lawyer and I have gone to court several times. My lawyer keeps asking, what exactly is a contempt for? They can't say. They don't know. They say that they just said, well, the house hasn't been sold. And they're trying to make it seem like I'm somehow stopping the house from being sold simply because I live here. And so recently, uh, my wife and her attorney uh, made an argument that I should be forcibly removed from my own house and placed in jail until the house sells. So, and here's what I did. Not only did I allow for the work to be done to the tune of over $50,000, I personally paid for smoke remediation out of my own pocket. Um, I asked for the price to be lowered. At first, it was at 625. I asked for it to be lowered to 590, and then I also asked that if it didn't sell at the 580 price, it went from 590, and then I asked for it to be lowered again to 580. And my other ask was that if it didn't sell at 580, then drop the price $5,000 every 2 weeks until it's sold. Uh, my wife didn't agree with that. They're saying that I'm somehow stopping the house from being sold. I've gone out and found other houses that I'm ready to move into, been approved to move in, but it's hard to buy a house, when
Yeah.
it's a contingency. So that's the real problem for me. So what they want to do now is on next Tuesday, they're going to sentence me. And what they're considering doing is sentencing me to jail until the house is sold. And I'm the only person here paying any bills. The bills are not late. There's not like there's a late bill every month or whatever the case. There was a point where when I died, I think I went in the rears a month or two until I came back to life and started working. But I paid all that off. That was years ago. So, but I mean, it's not like uh, there are any late payments or anything like that. Yeah,
Yet the fact that that sentence even exists, that they're talking about, they're sentencing me, and I go to jail until the house sells. I
right.
mean, that 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 is that is
Or
just
just go to
ins-
jail at all. I mean,
to go to jail, right?
yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, uh, you're
And
forced to sell the house, which is fine. I'm ready to move too. I can't move because the house isn't sold. In the last 2 months, this real estate agent has not shown the house one time, not once. Um, there was she, and here's what she does, right? So um, we were in court last Tuesday, and she was complaining about stupid stuff. Like she said, well, we had an open house, and I want to say the open house was like in September,
mm,
early October, maybe something like that. It had to been. It was over 2 months ago. All right, so this particular open house, she complained that she went in and she said this was a hindrance to the sale of the house. Um, I went into the kitchen and there was a sticky substance on the kitchen floor. I thought maybe that it was syrup or something, and I had to clean that up. And um, and it wasn't. It was Murphy's Murphy soap. And I guess sometimes the Murphy soap, if you don't get it all the way off, it can leave a sticky feeling. You know what I mean? But it was actual soap, and that's what I was told to use, the Murphy soap, because that helped to get rid of a bunch of the smoke smell. So that's what that was. And then she said she complained about that and said that was a hindrance. She said she was very concerned because my little sister was here, and she was vaping, and she was very concerned that she was vaping in the house. Um, so she complained that was a hindrance to the sale of the house, and nobody showed up for the open house. And she's done several open houses like that, and nobody shows up except for every now and then. I remember her friends coming by, but nobody showing up to view the house
mm,
at all. So, you know, uh, just recently, she also complained. Uh, she said that she sent me a text message Friday, and she complained that I did not respond to her text message, and she saw that as being a hindrance. All this stuff, she's in court testifying against me to the judge.
Mm.
I went back and I looked at, where she had sent that text. Now I work in DC. I get up at 4:30. I drive to DC. I work all day, and then I drive home, and it takes 2 hours, right? 2 hours one way. So it's 2 hours to work all day, 2 hours home, right? So I get off from work right around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Apparently, she says she sent a text message around that time, and I didn't respond. Okay. And she says that was a hindrance. So these are things that literally in the order that I sent to you, the judge actually wrote that in there. And these are the reasons why I find him guilty and that he's continuing to be found guilty of contempt. The sticky, the Murphy's soap, the vaping of my sister, um, not responding to her text message. So here's another thing. What she'll do is she will literally, like yesterday, Hanan, we got she lied in court and said that I was not allowing people to come visit the home, and which is not true. Um, when someone wants to come see the house, there's a 24-hour notice, right? And that's in there because I have a chocolate lab and I have a cat. And so I have to get a sitter to come and make sure that they're out the house so the house can be shown. The dog stays in the house. You know, so that's what the 24 hours are for. And so when they come through, I get either a text message or a email. And as soon as they come through, I just go ahead and approve it. Yeah, okay, no problem. And it's all caught. It's tracked on record. I only did not approve one, and that was during Veterans Day because I had friends and family over. She complained about that. As a matter of fact, she lied and she said that in the last 2 weeks there had been 3 different showings, and that I had denied 2, which is not true at all. I only denied the one, and that was for Veterans Day. But she lied about that.
Mm-hmm.
She also she came in the house when we did the inspection, when everything was done, all this kind of stuff. This is how nasty this woman is. So the contractor, his name is Euclides. He was standing right beside me. Hanan was the realtor. She's walking through and looking at everything. And she actually testified in court that I was physically intimidating and blocking her from going certain places in the house. And the thing about it was she was lying about this, and she forgetting that there are other people there. And one, it never happened, but so boldly lying about these things, And I'm throwing out the names out there because anybody can get a hold of these people. And I sent out all the documents. People can read for themselves, get a hold of this information, and do whatever, and make the determination for themselves. Just recently, there was a person that was supposed to come by and look at the house, right? And I went ahead and went through and I approved it, right? And so I approved it. That was yesterday when they were supposed to come by around 12 o'clock. Well, I had somebody come by to take care of the dogs and all that kind of stuff. And so they took the dogs and they went around the corner and they were kind of watching the house, and they noticed that the realtor showed up, but there was nobody with her to view the house. And so they came back and they said, well, is anybody coming to view the house? And she said, no, it's just her today. She just wanted to come to smell the house to see how it smelled. Um, and she was taking pictures, and it's like she was trying to gather some evidence so that she could take it back to the court to testify against me. For what? I mean, there's nothing here that's illegal. There's, we made the house. I made the house available for her to show the house. She lied and said that somebody was coming to see the house, but she never intended to even show the house. But that's the sort of things that she's been doing. Yeah, just crazy, man. It's crazy.
I don't understand. Like this, it seems more like a civil family situation more than It, that's what. How did it get to this point where it got this ridiculous? To like now, there's a judge that's involved. What's the judge's name again?
Dale Durer.
Dale. You're right. Right. Let me see if I can find him. And like how far does justice go? Like does the government have the right to tell us that we like this is some scary stuff, and I don't know if people really understand. Like the government can just come in and say, "Hey, you're gonna go to jail until your house sells."
Right. And he won't allow me to. He won't allow me to refi the house.
And then right. And
yeah. So and that would yeah, because they asked me that on Tuesday. How would I feel about refining the house? My attorney asked me while I was on the stand. I said, well, if that makes it all go away, then I'll do that. Because man, my plan is this: if I have to refi, I'd rather sell it because I'm ready to go. I've already found where I want to be at. And if I had to refi it, I would refi. And I already talked to my real estate agent, John Flowers. I said, look, man, if I have to refi the house, I'll just refi it and then turn around the next day and put it right back on the market and let you sell it so that I can get out of here. So I don't have any plans on keeping this place. I want to get out of here. And John, my real estate agent, we're literally trying to lock down this other place as we speak, man. But we know that, nothing's really going to move until this house is sold. But they're sitting up there trying to make it seem like I'm the one that's keeping people from buying this house. And, the thing about it is you got to bring people by here so they can see it. You got to show the house, and that's not happening. It's more of a thing where, they're trying to throw me in jail for nothing.
And they're willing to, and here's the thing is that part of it that freaks me out is that they're telling you to take your weapons out of the house.
Yeah.
That you bought legally. That I mean, first of all, it's your constitutional right, but that in itself is scary. And here's the thing: is when the comment was made about you taking your weapons away, and you pushed back and said, "Hey, I know my constitutional rights."
Right.
You push back. It seems like things escalated from there.
Yeah, you're right. My lawyer even said that, this is something that the judge has made very personal. He doesn't like me, period. He's trying to make an example out of me. He's upset because I won't bow down. I won't act like I'm afraid of him. They've been saying that they were going to throw me in jail. They keep like hanging that over my head. Man, I was dead last year. I'm not intimidated. This is a persecution that's happening, and I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't violated any laws. Even the ridiculousness of the court orders that they made me do, I did it. There's nothing that they asked me to do that I didn't do. Even the ridiculousness of, I can't be on the property while it's being sold. I can no longer smoke in my house. These things are ridiculous. But guess what? I've been doing it. And I'm going to tell you something. You know how I like my cigars? It's cold outside.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and so I've been following everything. She complained, man, that just recently in court, she said that, all right, so when you go into the basement, right? I could even take the camera and show you. But there's a, you know how you cut on the light to go down the stairs?
No.
So I don't do anything. I don't do manual stuff. I'm just not good at that. You know, like if you're gonna put a ceiling fan, or I got a hard time changing light bulbs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I don't do that kind of stuff. But she said that the original light that's still there, apparently she never saw it. So she said that I changed it out, and that light wasn't there, and I'm concerned about that. And so she's testifying and stuff in court, and it's the original. It's always been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that in the basement. So after the divorce, uh, my parents lived here a little while with me, right? So they needed some help, and they were here, and they stayed in the house. You know, that's what it's for, right? So my dad, he does those sorts of things, and this was, I would say, like 2023, right, when they were here.
Mhm.
And so there's a light downstairs in the basement where um, we were going to put a ceiling fan there. You know what I mean? So he was going to do that, but he's old, right? So he pulled the light, but didn't put the ceiling fan up. So it's just sitting there like that. Oh, look at, that is such a concern because the wires or whatever, the yellow, green or whatever, that's showing, and it's, lady, it's been like that since before you were here. It wasn't like that before. She actually said that. Well, we got the pictures that you took, and it was just like that you put online. But she lied again, and that's what she's been doing. She just keeps lying, man. And the judge, I personally think I think, people don't want to say this, but I think that I'm a large black man. He don't like that, and I've got some things, you know, a nice home, nice car, whatever the case. He don't like that, and I'm not kind of, shout, Toby, no, I'm not doing that. So I think he really has a problem with that. You
Well,
know,
I don't think a lot of times people don't even want to consider that people who are in power sometimes have to deal with that. By they play a mental game that doesn't exist when it
Mhm.
comes to other situations. And when I talked to you about that before, what's interesting is that it's actually not a race thing because you know it's a you don't look like me thing.
Right.
It's and it's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird because we put people in places of justice and
Mhm.
we do want to know that psychologically they have the ability to manage themselves, keep things in proper perspective, like that their mental health has the right ability to discern things, and it's unfortunate that the mindsets that have been allowed to be uh, in places of position have completely abused that
Mhm.
power. It's unfortunate that ego has become such a weapon against American citizens,
Mhm.
even veterans, and the lack of consideration of veterans and what they go through. So to tell a veteran, someone who's fought for our nation, who knows more about our nation than most, and to tell a veteran you got to get your weapons out of the house because someone feels uncomfortable with you practicing your constitutional rights in your house. That's just scary. And then to say, and then when you say, "Hey, I actually know my constitutional rights," and make that stand, to say, "Well, we're doing it because I told you so," like like for the reason to be because I said so. You know,
Yeah.
uh, to say justice doesn't matter, my, let my will be done. It's like it's creepy.
Right.
It's
Well, it's tyrannical. I mean, that's a part. When we have activist judges like that don't want to follow the law, it's ridiculous. He got into an argument with my lawyer over. Uh, all right, so apparently this particular judge, Dale Durer, he also teaches law at George Washington, and I'm thankful that I talked my daughter out of going there because she was going to go there for law school, uh,
Right,
NJ, and I talked her. Hopefully, I talked her into going to JMU, uh, especially knowing that he's there. I don't want her anywhere around him.
right.
But he started arguing with my lawyer, talking about, well, I teach the rule of evidence at George Washington and this, that, and the other. Yep. My lawyer is, he went to UVA, so he's no slouch. Um,
Right.
but he's like trying to, everything's this bravado thing with this judge, and it's crazy. You know, um,
It's very ego driven.
yeah, he's a very very much so an egotist, and for the longest time, this woman, her big issue was that she kept trying to say that it smelled like smoke. It smelled like smoke, even after professionals came in and cleaned the house. For one, it doesn't smell like smoke anymore. I wish it did because I miss the smell, but it doesn't smell like that anymore. But knowing that that was like the sticking point, that was a stickler point that the judge and my wife's attorney, they were harping on this, like that was the reason why the house wasn't selling. Not looking at the fact that, hey, this lady, she's not bringing anybody by to see the house. How would you even know what it smells like if you haven't been here? Um, for the longest time, they tried to uh, complain about that. So anyway, even when the people came by to clean the vents and do all the fumigating and all that kind of stuff, even they said, we don't smell anything in here.
Yeah.
So the point is I'm making is, remember I told you yesterday when she lied and said that somebody was coming to look at the house, but it was just her.
Hmm.
So just yesterday she came in and she said, well, I still smell pockets of smoke. So what I did was there was a family walking down the hall, walking down the street, and I asked them, I said, hey, can you come over for a minute? I didn't know these people, you know, and I asked them to come in. Hey, listen, I used to smoke in the house and I spent a lot of money trying to clean up the smoke smell. I just want to know if you come in, what does it seem like to you? Do you smell anything? They said, no, it's a beautiful home. And they just looked around the house because it really is a nice home. Um, but they said, no, it smells good in here. It smells like, cleaning stuff, but that's it, you know. And so she tries to make it seem like like I'm messing up my own house. So,
Hmm.
for example, I just kind of walk around a little bit. So I don't know if you guys can see, but so it might be a little messy. This is messy to me because I was on the couch. You know what I'm saying? So that's messy. So I'll clean up or whatever. And I got a new chair for my office, so that box is there. But that's one of the rooms. And then you can kind of look around, and I got some boxes obviously because I'm ready to go. So I've been kind of packing. So you'll see some boxes and pictures off the wall and stuff like that. And then, you know, this is the house. So, you know, I had pizza last night, so the kitchen may be a little messy, you know what I mean? But that's messy to me. So then when you walk downstairs, so that light right there, that's been there forever. That was originally like that. If you pull the light off and it's kind of hanging, it's been hanging like that since the contractors came. I don't touch that kind of stuff. So then when you get to the basement, so that right there, that's where dad was gonna put a ceiling fan. He just never did it. You know. So, uh, but that's the basement. So she's saying that I'm tearing down the house, but there's nothing wrong with this house, man. There's nothing. They've got a serious issue, a personal issue with me, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the reason why this is so insane is because not only are they saying that if the house doesn't sell, if the house doesn't sell, you're going to jail. They're
Right.
also they're also saying that you don't get out until the house sells, uh,
Right.
which they don't care about your retirement. They don't care about
No.
how this
It's like they're
affects
trying to destroy my life. My livelihood, my life, everything.
and I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out what gives them the authority, who gave them the authority, like, and where does like the power of the government, where is that line? Because I could have sworn that we were a nation that wasn't going to allow the government to have that kind of authority to
Right.
this. Like I said, this is such a situation that should have been between you and your wife, not if anything, the real estate agent, but not the justice system coming in, uh, and again, the disgrace to have such a position of power and allow ego to rule over you versus principle. Um, Anyone in authority should be ashamed of themselves when they allow ego to rule over them more than principle, because we're
Right.
supposed to be a people of principle. Now, what as of right now, when are they talking about sentencing you?
Next Tuesday at 1:30.
That you're supposed to go, what, turn yourself in, and if the house.
I show up to court. I'm assuming he's gonna say what he says. I sent the order to you, uh, and feel free to you can publish whatever. Feel free to contact my attorney too if you want to. Uh, yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, and it's like at one point in time she tried to make it seem like I was even hindering the renovations to be done, but I was working. Yeah, I was at work, man. So I don't.
And
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
where
yeah. This is crazy.
I don't understand how we let this, how we got to a place where they even thought judges. I want to know how long stuff like this has been going on. How many people are in jail
Right,
because the court system overstepped their boundaries and nobody knew about it?
right,
That
right.
is wild to me that they have that kind of power now. Uh, when we know that when we hand the power of the people over to individuals, woo, we have no evidence that they don't become, monsters and
Yeah,
that rule over us. Um, Telling an American that they can't even smoke in their house, that's another trippy thing. Like, you would never think that would be said in America. You would
yeah.
never.
I mean, yeah. I mean, one, it is a big deal because it steps on your rights. It doesn't bother me because I want the house sold.
Right.
So, but it's an annoyance. The thing about it is like you get to the point where it's just like, hey man, just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Just go ahead. I mean, do you want me to? You want to sell it? I want to sell it too, but you got to bring the people by here so they can buy the house, see the house, whatever. It's a beautiful home. But if you're not doing that, if you want me to refi to get everybody out of my hair, I'm not going to be staying here. I want to go. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. when they ask, it's crazy, man, because then when they asked me if I wanted to refi, it was nuts because then as soon as I said, well, if it's gonna help and I can pay everybody off and I can just get this situation over with, then I'll do that. Then they asked, do I think that the house should be pulled off the market? I said, no, I don't think it should be. I think the house needs to be sold, So then she jumps on, my wife's attorney. See, he just wants to refi the house and he's been preventing it from being sold. And this is the reason why our recommendation to the court is that he's forcibly removed from the house and should reside in county jail until the house is sold.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the judge actually says, "I'll consider this.
He's considering it. Yeah, yeah."
And they're talking, and sentencing is next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Where
they from today.
So if the house doesn't sell in 1 week, you go to jail.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
I mean, it's when I say it's absurd, it's absurd. However, can we at least put the address of the house out to see if there's somebody that watches?
Yeah. It's 14006 Bell Avenue in Culpeper, Virginia. Beautiful home. Yeah, it's online. Yeah. All the pictures are online.
What is it? Oh, you said it's online? What are those? Zillow?
Yeah, it's on Zillow, man. Pull it up. Let's see what it look like.
All right. Let's see if I know how to do this thing. What's the address?
14006 Bell Avenue.
14006 Bell Avenue,
Culpeper.
Yep. All right. It's beautiful, man. And you built it.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So she said she complained that it didn't have curb appeal, so but that's what it looks like. And yeah, I mean the shrubberies and stuff need to be, redone, but yeah, I don't do that. I mean, the house is cheap, it's in the fives, a house like this normally would go $750, so yeah.
So if anybody's interested, but still, I love the guy. You got so much word. I just love seeing those Bibles up there and books, and the thing that
another thing, man. Not for nothing, I'm gonna just throw it out there. So, like everybody knows, like I'm Jewish, right? The real estate agent is a Muslim, and just looking at how she keeps lying about things and all this stuff, I kind of wonder if that's playing a part also.
Well, they're allowed to do that. They're allowed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they don't. In the Muslim culture, they're allowed to lie about stuff. As long as they get the win, right? That's all. That's how we know our God is the true God, because He requires truth. If you got a lie, cheat, and steal, that shows you who your Father is. It shows you where you're going. But here's one of the things that I thought was important to do this with is, like, I think this is what happens when the people disconnect from their the responsibility that we have to hold leadership accountable. You know what I mean? Like, how did judges get so comfortable that they can, put people in jail? He didn't put his French fries in the ice cream.
Right. Yeah, that's literally, that's crazy.
How did they get this weird? What happened? Where people, this false authority and the audacity for people to actually walk in it, for them to think they can ruin somebody's life because like he wore pink on a Sunday. What like
I
this
mean,
is
the woman complained that what she said. Well, it seemed like there was syrup on the kitchen floor. I had to wipe it up. I'm not
right.
saying, I know that it wasn't any there, but let's just say, even if it was, so what?
Yeah, it this
I
is
mean, so what? Just wipe it up and keep it moving.
I,
How many people showed up? None. Oh, okay.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that it's just interesting to see how far they're willing to go. And I want men out there to understand. Like I really want men to pay attention to this. Look how
Mhm.
far women are willing to go
Yeah,
to. And I know that men do it too. So ladies, don't think but I'm just saying this is why we as Americans we got to be mindful. Like let's check the heart and temperature of people because if it gets like this now, the scripture makes it clear. It says, "A man's enemy will be those of his own household in the like in the last days." Like that's powerful. That one of the things that the Father talks about the most, the disciples talk about the most, the Messiah talks about the most, is the way people are going to treat each other in the last days.
yeah. Hmm.
Where there'll be many betrayals, but we gotta endure. See, there's a lot of brothers that are in prison right now because they didn't endure, because they flipped out, they wiped out their whole families, they did this and that, and came after people or broke the law. This brother is actually Madison is actually keeping his composure. When hurt men can be dangerous, man. Somebody's really level-headed and letting God use them when they can go through all these ups and downs and still stay consistent in their character, not flip out, not doing all this crazy stuff, but
Hmm.
on every level, even down to the saying, okay, we're just going to sell the house, the legacy, the financial investment in our children's future. We're gonna just get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that and
Yeah,
move forward. But that's not enough.
yeah,
It's got to be. I got to take the career. I got to take this. That's the part that I'm like, and it's so interesting how even men and women together can just be, you know, not considerate of how things play out. Like, hey, it's already hard enough that divorce is already hard enough on a family. Let's
mhm.
make sure we can create opportunities for healing. No, it's like let's make sure we kick them when they're down.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's why I believe this is demonic.
Oh, there's no doubt, man, that this is demonic. I mean, I can't think of anything else. I mean, when you're talking about throwing me in jail until the house sells because the house hasn't sold, which is the reason why you're saying that I'm in contempt. Even when we were in court last Tuesday, I mean, the one thing that she was honest about, was, the government shutdown. Because, the issue is, like I said, it's been 2 months since anybody's come by to see the house. Well, obviously, we went through the shutdown. So even with that, the guy's like, yeah, well, we're just going to throw him in jail until the house sells because his presence in the home. And the thing about it, man, I'll be honest with you. Uh, she's the real estate agent keeps making it seem like, I just showed you the house, right? We walked through the house. She makes it seem like every time, and that was dirty to me. You know what I mean? But she's trying to make it seem like I'm a dirty individual,
Mm.
like the house stinks. So as a black man, you're telling me that, because I know my house is probably nicer than yours, you know, and when I leave this house, I'm going to build a bigger house. But the thing about it is, you're making it seem like I'm this nasty, dirty individual. You know, I stink. There's something about me to me, it's like, man, go back to your own country, man. You don't belong here like this. You're coming at me. I earned this. We agreed to sell it. Let's sell it. But you're coming in here, you keep lying about stuff. Um, you're violating all my rights. You're upset. You're supposed to sell the house. You won't sell it. I would have fired her and got a new real estate agent, and I guarantee you it would have been sold. I tried to get another one, Tamika Jackson, but she actually called Tamika and started lying to Tamika about me. But
Oh
she
wow.
didn't know that Tamika was in the house. So Tamika put the phone on speaker. Tamika Jackson is another real estate agent out of Stafford. So
Wow.
we got receipts on all this stuff, man. And even though I can provide all these receipts to the judge, he don't care, man. He's hell bent on throwing me in jail.
What's the judge's name again?
Dale Durer.
Dale Durr.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. Again, I just feel like that. And this is the Spotsy area, right?
This is in Culpeper. Spassy is the next county over, you know.
Y-
Yeah.
it just seems like that area is having problems right now, understanding what the boundaries of justice actually are.
Right.
Things have kind of gotten blurred.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like that ever since the whole school situation. And that's what I'm wondering is if the
Yeah.
name is out and then people go, oh, this is that family that doesn't just bow down. This is because that brought a lot of focus to your area. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
And yeah, that definitely did. You know, I think that I really don't know what to think, man. Like I could say, I could understand if, I was out here breaking laws, or even if, I was the type of person to say, that was hindering something, but I'm not. I get up, I go to work, I come home. You're complaining in your order, and the reason why I should be thrown in jail. My little sister was here one time, and she was vaping. You went into the kitchen and for open house that nobody showed up to, and you say that there was some syrup on the floor, pancake syrup, and just in a small spot. Uh, oh, you sent a text message while I'm driving to it because the time for that was around 4. Like I said, while I'm driving 2 hours home from DC, which is a 2-hour drive, I'm driving. You're upset because I didn't return your text. And by the way, that was the week where we had shutdowns in the school, guns all up in the school. Yeah, it was a rough week. That was a Friday. My mind was gone. I just want to get home and I work in Southeast, man. I'm a high school teacher
yeah,
in Southeast. It's rough.
which
So
which again, willing to you know, it's very difficult to find good, strong male teachers in schools anymore uh,
mhm,
that really connect with the people. So they're willing to not only destroy your career, but destroy an opportunity for young people to have a strong black positive figure in their life.
yeah,
And I think that that's interesting. Again, uh,
yeah, it's very interesting.
the amount of stuff that has to be ignored to try
Mhm,
to destroy you, and the fact that it has nothing to do with the house. So, like,
yeah,
even having the statement made that he won't come out, if this is a form of punishment, he won't come out until the house sells. Well, that's almost like saying we know this might take a long time, so the
yeah,
punishment is he has to stay in jail until the house sells because that's the punishment. So if you're out of the picture,
mhm.
knowing it's going to take a long time, this is what lets me know the attack is about you not selling the house.
Yeah, it's not. It has nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this is a personal thing. Like I said, man, my lawyer said that this guy, it goes back to when this woman, Hanan Sabah, For one, I don't appreciate the fact that she keeps trying to compare me to her ex-husband. That's a red flag right there. I should have never known that. I'm not attracted. I don't like this woman. Um, but she has a job to do. I don't get in the way of it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, then number two, um, so what I'm saying is transference. That's the point about
Right.
comparing me to your ex-husband. And then you complain to the court because you were attacked by someone else. I'm just saying, not for nothing. If you acted like this to them and you're saying you were attacked, somebody attacked you, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that. I'm not going to do anything like that, but I'm saying,
You
but
can,
this is
yeah.
the reason why you complain to the judge that I have weapons. And then this guy gets to the point, he's like, shouting that I need to remove my weapons out the house because he said so. No, no laws broken, nothing like that. Nobody did nothing to nobody. So it's crazy.
We just
Yeah.
keep giving liberties away, and that's just scary that can even happen in America today. But
Yeah.
we're at we're out of time, but you got to keep us updated on what's going on. I want to do this again because of the fact that I think that this definitely about stopping, not just you, but other young people from having a positive example in their life. But we got to stick together. If you're going through an injustice, then we're all going through an injustice because we're one with the people of God. We're supposed to stand up for each other.
Mhm.
Two, we got to get this our zeal back for justice. We got to get our zeal back for not compliance until it's time to not be. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like compliance, yes, but when is it time to stand together? When we can clearly see there's corruption, we don't have to comply with corruption. Locking somebody out, locking somebody in prison because the house didn't sell is like, I mean, that is insane to me, and people just need to know more. We need to become mindful of what the laws actually are, and how they come to be. This is why it's so important for believers to not, just uh, be spiritual, but we've got to know how to protect ourselves. So, Madison, thank you so much for the time. Love you,
Yeah.
brother. We're gonna do this
Okay.
again because we got to kind of keep staying in front of people until next week because that's when the sentencing is. So we just
Yeah.
want to make everyone mindful of it. But we'll catch you guys next week.